Absolutely, and I think that's really why they're going after the Internet right now so openly, so publicly. Not only do we have the Cybersecurity Act that has been introduced by Jay Rockefeller, but we've got this one, H.R. 1966, which is the Cyberbullying Prevention Act. Let me just read you a subsection of this. Section 2, findings, subsection 6. 60% of mental health professionals who responded to the survey of Internet mental health issues report that treated at least one patient with problematic Internet experience in the previous 5 years. So in 5 years, 60%, not even 100%, treated one patient with problematic Internet experiences. People have problems, Bob. You know, people get depressed on their own. I don't see what the Internet has anything to do with it. And they're saying 54% of these clients were under the age of 18. We have to save the children. I want to get his take on H.R. 1966 when we come back. It's the Alex Jones Show. I'm Jason Burmis. We'll be back after this. Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. Folks, where is the love on this Cyberbullying Act? And let me define what cyberbullying is, and then we're going to go to Bob Chapman and get his take on it. Section 881, Cyberbullying. Section A, whoever transmits in interstate or foreign commerce any communication with the intent to coerce, intimidate, harass, or cause substantial emotional distress to a person using electronic means to support severe, repeated, and hostile behavior shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 2 years or both. So they want to throw you in jail for 2 years and fine you for having a different opinion than someone on the Internet who might have their feelings hurt, Bob.
Well, I think it's tragic that people's feelings have been and will continue to be hurt, but it certainly, by being thrown in jail, makes it a felony. And I don't think that's an appropriate sentence for someone who says something that somebody else doesn't like.
Well, isn't that the First Amendment? Aren't we supposed to be able to dissent, Bob? I mean, that's the whole point of this country, that unpopular ideas can be expressed without the threat of jail or fines. I mean, that's what the First Amendment is about, and now they're trying to take that away on the Internet as they try to further regulate it.
Well, that's absolutely correct, and they're going to be relentless. They're not going to stop. They'll be there with their bushel baskets of $100 bills, giving it out to the people in Congress, and along with their lobbying people and their campaign contributions and the jobs here and there. And after you leave your office, you'll be the president of XYZ Foundation, and your wife and children will be taken care of. And they're gonna do it. They're gonna keep on pressing. And until they eventually shut us down. And so what we have to do, number one, is inform the public of what they're trying to do, get after Congress to see if it'll do any good, and prepare people that there's going to come a day, perhaps, when we're not going to be on the air.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what this is about. I mean, again, they shut down the Alex Jones channel. 18 months up, 30 million views combined. I mean, you look at the Obama deception, it's almost at 2 million views. One copy alone. People call into this show every day talking about the hundreds and thousands of Obama deceptions that they've copied and given to other people. I'm getting calls every night on my radio show. Hey, Jason, I just woke up last month. Someone gave me a copy of the Obama deception. Hey, Jason, I just woke up 2 weeks ago. I got turned on to your show after I typed the Obama deception into YouTube, and I came across the Info Warrior. They don't like that we're having an impact, and now that there is a Democratic administration in that we're waking up the right wing.
And we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible
We're waking
to
up
me.
Everybody, everybody cares about their life, cares about their family, cares about the country in which they live. That's just not America. I mean, there are people listening to these broadcasts all over the world, and they don't want to lose what they have. They don't want to become slaves of the Illuminati. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told they can't plant things on their farms. They can't fish for certain fish. They can't be a carpenter or whatever. And that's what the New World Order wants. And we're getting that word out to them. And Jason, in just the last year, this whole information program that we have has exploded throughout the world. People's minds were open because they knew something wasn't wrong, and Alex and you and others like you have filled that void.
Well, we're going to continue to do so no matter what they rule on, whether they pass these ludicrous bills or not. I mean, we had that malicious attack last week after we exposed, Baxter and the vaccinations, and this swine flu really as a hoax. I'm not going to say who we got a cease and desist letter from, but let's just say our biggest internet attack ever came directly after that. And we're not hyping it, folks. I came in here, I couldn't get on InfoWars. It got up just before my show, but then in the middle of my show, totally and completely gone. On the other side, Bob, I really want to talk about how we can protect ourselves financially by getting into gold and silver, a currency that has lasted thousands of years and really does have the closest thing to intrinsic value. This isn't a fiat currency. We'll be back after this. It's the Alex Jones Show. We've got Bob Chapman of the InternationalForecaster.com, PrisonPlanet.tv, and Infowars.com are where you're going to find the latest news articles right now.
Fast bullets fly.
We are back. It's the Alex Jones Show. I'm Jason Burma sitting in. We've got Bob Chapman with us, and we're going to bring Ted Anderson up in about 10 minutes. But, Bob, why don't you tell people how important it is to get into gold and silver in order to really, save your wealth? Try to have something after this economic collapse. Really hedge your bets.
Well, let's go to the conclusion. The conclusion is, where else can you go? Historically, when you've had a depression like we're in this stage, it's an inflationary one, and probably will go into hyperinflation, and then that'll be followed by a deflationary depression, which is dreadful. If you look back at other times that this has happened, you'll see that everything else went down in value except gold. Sometimes silver would go down because it's basically a commercial metal. But gold will hold its own. In fact, it may even appreciate during that period of time, dependent upon the events. If gold goes to $2,000 an ounce, then gold will appreciate, as will all of the coins and the bars and the shares, etc. At the same time, we've already witnessed one fall in the stock market, which was about 50 to 60% back in 2000 and 2001. We've witnessed the fall in the median price of housing, which is somewhere around 30%, and the experts say it'll get down another 20%. So let's say the median house goes down 40%, 45%. That's not very good. And commercial real estate, they say, is going to go down 70%. So then we come to the stock market. We saw 6,600 on the Dow. It's 8,500. Why is it there? It's there because they don't want it to get down anymore at this time. So the working group in financial markets under the U.S. Treasury steps in and manipulates the market. And one of the strong reasons for that was to raise equity money for the financial firms that are all bankrupt. Now, they got the stress test. I explained earlier it doesn't mean anything because they're lying about everything. And here we have prices on the stocks of financial companies that have doubled and tripled in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, that's all part of it. And they wanted this run-up so they could go sell shares to suckers. And after they finish doing that, very shortly the stock market's going back down again. And when it goes down, it'll affect any shares that you have in there, with the exception of gold and silver shares. It will affect all of the pensions and profit sharing and IRAs, if that's what you got your investments in. It will affect bonds as well, because the 30-year bond and the 10-year note have just broken down below their 200-day moving averages, which is not good. And bond yields have started to climb, and when yields climb, the value of the bond falls. So if you have in some portfolio that you have bonds, you're starting to lose money on them from what they were before. So we can't go to real estate, either kind. We can't go to the stock market. We can't go to bonds. Jason, I don't know where else to go but gold and silver. And as you said, and I've said often, we're looking at 6,000 years of history when immutable gold has been the only real currency in the world. And we have a lock on wealth preservation by owning gold and silver when we have the inflationary environment.
Exactly, and a lot of people like to say, oh, gold and silver don't have any inherent value, and I'm like, well, why is it that throughout history it's been used and sought after? I can't see that going away. How can people, where should people go to get gold and silver right now?
They go to Midas. That's where they should go. I mean, Ted Anderson breaks his neck putting all these programs on, telling the people in the world what's going on, and he funds that by having Midas, which sells gold and silver coins and bars and so on.